The only way to change me is like to put my brains out, stuck in the middle of the game. Get the pain out, begging my God to protect. So I never be afraid. Until I go straight, I'm hanging in the back streets, running with Jesus.
What's going on, guys? So as promised, I was going to do a review and kind of reveal of our team bike. Now I know a lot of guys have probably heard of Factors, seen Factors out there. I have personally never ridden one before this one. I did have a Specialized Tarmac SL7 before this bike. Both of them were E-tap, so both of them had ceramic, or this one still does, have ceramic components on it. And so I did stick with that with this one, my SL7. And when I was getting ready to do this little backstory for our team bike, I didn't really know if I wanted to switch yet, because one, I didn't have any experience on a Factor, and all the research I could find really did say that everybody that did switch or has one was really happy with their Factor ostro VAMs. So that obviously is a plus. Nobody wants to go backwards when you already have, what's considered a really top of the line bike with the SL7, especially from Specialized. And again, so I tried to look up videos and I couldn't find a comparison really between just the SL7 and to the Factor Ostro VAM. And I found a lot of like SL6s to those and a lot of other bikes, but from the 7 to the FAM, there just wasn't that many reviews on the differences. Now, I personally don't like reviews that don't show people riding them, which kind of sucks, but it's been pretty shitty weather out here. I don't really have anybody to film me riding, so that's not going to happen, sorry. But I will say, like I said, both of them did have SRAM components on it. My SL7 had SRAM Rival components, and this one has SRAM Red components. Now, the one thing I did switch on this bike is my 1X chainring right here. That's just personal to me. I like 1Xs just because for a few reasons. One, when you don't have two chain rings and the derailleur front, obviously it is lighter. But I'm not like, I'm a pretty powerful dude, so it's not like I really care about the weight that much. But what I do care about is going from, and I don't have my other chain ring here, but if you look at the 1X chain rings, this one especially, they add 40% onto the actual teeth of it, and that's super important to me because I race crits, and that's pretty much all I do. And some of the roads in Tulsa and some of the crit courses that we do are very rough, very bumpy, and with a 2X chain ring, the teeth are reduced to save weight, and just because you have two chain rings there. And I really don't want to. I haven't had an issue. I never had a chain drop, except for one time when I did crash. But that's obviously, it's probably gonna happen regardless. So I will say that is one of the reasons why I go to the 1Xs, because the teeth, and you run less of a chance of a chain drop going over all of those rough conditions. And also I can just have a little bit different gearing. So I have a 50 tooth in the front and a 1033 in the rear. Now that's not really where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a 1036 in the rear, but that's neither here nor there. I can change a few things and get that sorted out eventually. But back to the main difference with the Astra and the SL7, I will say that one, the Ostro is shorter wheelbase, even though they're both 52, size 52 that I had. And you can really tell, for me, I can really tell. I had a lot of people that said, oh, well, the VAM, it's not as touchy in the corners. It's not like you can't really like throw, and I find that to be actually the absolute complete opposite. And the reason why is how we set up our bikes. Usually for crits, I have a shorter bike. I'm only 5'6", so I have a longer lower half and a shorter torso. And with my setup, I'm more over the front of the bike, and it's extremely touchy. I have the same size wheels. These are 60s, the Black Ink 60s. I had 64s on the SL7. But overall, this bike is extremely stiff in the front, and it is extremely touchy. I can throw this bike into corners extremely hard because I am more over the front wheel. It's almost scary fast how much more I can dig into the corner with this one than I could with my SL7. Now, that might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I don't know. Come race season, when we're taking turns at 30 miles an hour, I haven't done any courses that we did last year to really see, what it's like going at full race speed. But I know from doing the rides that I have, living in Tulsa, I live right on Crybaby Hill, so there's a lot of courses that I can go around, a lot of corners that I can do, and it's definitely very, very touchy. It feels very, very fast. Everyone did say that it does feel better in the climbs. I will say that with it being stiffer, it does feel like you put more power into the drivetrain, which is good for me because I am what would be considered a sprinter. I do have over a 1500 watt sprint. And with that being said, that is one of the reasons also I wanted to go with something that was stiffer. I'm not saying the SL7 wasn't stiff enough, but with anything, as I progress, I would like to have something that is able to ultimately handle more power, if that ever was an issue, which I don't know. I'm sure it could probably handle 2,000 watts probably, but that's neither here nor there. But all in all, if you are on the cusp of SL7 versus Factor, for me, it definitely was not a downgrade. The bike does cost more, obviously, with the SRAM red components. For me, doing crits, I personally don't really notice a difference in those components. It is a little bit lighter, but like I said, I'm a powerful guy, so it's not like 100, 200 grams is really going to make that big a difference for me. I do endurance rides as well. I still do 100-mile rides, even though I am more of a sprinter just for my training. But like I said, that hasn't been an issue. The shifting feels very similar. It doesn't feel really much any faster. The quietness, the operations, all that, everything is really good. This one is a lot louder than my last one, so the freewheel is a lot louder, and that's probably just because of the hub that they use on the Black Inks versus the Rapide. I had the CXL 64s, CLX 64s with the ceramic speed, which is similar to these. So everything is really similar, but the frame it definitely makes a big difference. So like I said, if you guys are on that cusp of saying, hey, man, I don't really know if I want to give up my Specialized for a Factor, obviously, factory names, blah, 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 blah. I do not regret it at all at this point. I really love this bike. It feels great. And my position on the bike is a lot better as well, because I am more over the front of the handlebars. Also on this one is a straight stem on the seat post, or a straight seat post, versus my SL7 was a 25-degree offset post. So it actually sent me back further, which obviously changed the geometry of the bike, but that's how those come. Really, you don't really see a lot of SL7s with 0-degree seat posts. But with these, it's a factory option. They know a lot of people are kind of using them, and that's how they set these bikes up with, the rigidity in the front end. They knew a lot of people are going to have them, so where people can be over the front more, or you can be over the back a little bit more, and that's pretty cool. But the other thing you got to worry about too is the stem and handlebar combo. They come integrated, so you need to know how wide and how long of stem, how wide of bars and how long of stem that you want from the get-go when you do order your bike. If you are lucky enough to be around the DFW area, I'll do a free plug. Cadence Cyclery in DFW is our United sponsored shop, and that's where we all go to get our bikes, and they set them up, they do our bike fits, they do all that stuff there. So if you guys are lucky enough to be, within, driving distance of there, it's definitely a good deal to be able to go down to the store. And the reason why I say that is because they have a variety of different sizes already in stock. And you guys know, last year and the year before, when we were trying to find new bikes, it was impossible. You're not going to be able to go into a store and find a brand new bike in your size sitting on the shelf. So that's pretty cool. It's not the only brand that they carry. Obviously, they have a ton of them, but if you're specifically looking for a factor, they do have them on the shelves in different sizes, 52, 54, 56. And they also do offer the different wheel combo packages from the 30 to 40 to 60s. And they also offer different handlebar settings. So if you ordered a bike in there and you're like, oh crap, like these handlebars are, the stem is too short, I need a 100 mil. They have a ton of different parts for the factor, because they know that, with that option being that some people might order the wrong thing. After you get a bike fit, which I do recommend, if you don't get one, please just get a bike fit. Yes, it costs a little bit of money, but it really gets you set up, especially if you're racing. But they have those available parts there. So again, in DFW area, the Cadence Cyclery, it's downtown in McKinney. So if you're able to stop by there, tell them Roger from United sent you guys in there. Really cool guys, fast. They built my bike the way I wanted it. When this 52 came in, it had it had SRAM Dura Ace components on it, and I wanted ETAP just so it matched my other bike that I have that still has SRAM components on it as well, just in case something happened. So I just wanted my bikes to match, and they basically stripped it all down and built it exactly the way I wanted it. Of course, that's probably for a team kind of thing, so they kind of busted it out. And then the day after that, I put 84 miles on it without an issue. We had no mechanicals, no problems. So yeah, if you're on the cusp of SL7, I love that bike. I mean, that bike did me a lot of good for the 2022 season. I won a lot of races on that bike, and if I didn't win, I got a lot of podiums on that bike. So, and it did it all really well. And back to that one, it did have a 1X setup. I had a 48 tooth in the front and a 1036 in the rear. So there's a few different parts that are interchangeable there if you want to get that kind of combo. And I did have a different crank. I had a red crank on that bike, but that was just because I wanted the 1X. But anyways, so back to that bike. If you guys do get a chance to stop by there, hop on one, ride it around, you guys won't regret it. It's a freaking awesome bike. It's very stiff, very, very compliant. A lot of people say that it does ride softer than the other ones. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's any softer than my SL7. I mean, they're both. A road bike is usually a stiff bike. You're gonna feel it. It's not where it beats the crap out of you, but it's definitely stiff. You can definitely feel that. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Please, if you have any questions or comments about the bike, either or, if you want to know this versus that, just drop a comment below. Obviously, hit the subscribe button. After 2023 races start, we're hopefully going to start in February. I'd like to go down and make it to a driveway series. So if anybody is down there, definitely let's meet up, let's kick it, let's have fun down there in Austin. My team United is based out of McKinney. I'm in Tulsa. Well, I'm in Wichita right now, but I usually I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a lot of guys are there. If anybody wants to come up there and train hey, hit me up anytime. Let's get some training in, get some riding in. But that's it for now. Peace, and thanks for watching.